Hello, and thank you for giving us another opportunity to spend some time with you on Stairway to Health, brought to you by Health Experts Canada. We've got some great ideas, new information, and hopefully a few laughs for you today. Who knows, if you're not careful, you may learn something.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stairway to Health podcast. I'm your host, Frank Pirri, and I'm here with
Marilyn Mitchell.
And today, I think we're going to dive into something that has been out there. It's all over social media. People are talking about it like crazy. There are so many people that are aware of this and so many people that are not aware of this. I just thought it, smart to maybe shed some light on some new concepts in the world of health. And health testing.
Okay.
People out there are talking a lot about genetic testing, medical genetic tests. It's a pretty remarkable concept. And it's something that we now have access to as healthcare professionals when dealing with clients, other healthcare professionals when dealing with patients. We can really dive deep and get to the heart of the matter as to how somebody is either affected or going to be affected by certain things related to their health, whether it be from nutrient deficiencies, whether it be through specific sensitivities, food sensitivities or allergies. But one of the big key components to this is understanding genetic mutation. See,
genetic mutation.
Genetic mutation.
Okay, I could say so much right now, but I won't.
Well, here's the thing. You're born with your DNA. You die with your DNA. Your DNA does not change. Your DNA cannot change. What can happen is through, things like epigenetics. We can change how our DNA and how our cells respond and read certain situations, be it through how we think about things, our environment, our mood, and so forth. But you never physically change your DNA. So when you are now able to test for DNA, medical systems around your DNA, we can test all these things, like I said, how physical activity affects your body. How this
Wait. You're telling me that if you take some of my DNA, it's somehow magically going to tell you if I should work out or not, or if I should exercise.
Believe it or not.
Come on.
This is the God's honest truth. I kid you not. As real as I am sitting here in front of you today, there are techniques now that we've come so far in being able to read genetic code that we can understand what genes specifically affect physical performance in a human being. So we know whether their body responds better to aerobic activity or anaerobic activity.
Or no activity.
I doubt anybody out there responds well to no activity.
I was building up an excuse there. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
However, there's this gene that everybody is talking about, and it's the MTHFR. This is a methylation gene.
Okay. What kind of a gene?
A methylation gene.
What?
So we now understand that the human body has a capacity to methylate certain vitamins and minerals, nutrients coming into our system. And by methylating these vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, what I'm talking about is our ability to convert those nutrients into a usable, bioavailable form to get maximum benefit and performance.
Okay, so when you're talking about methylation, what you're actually saying is it's something that means that how we absorb them and utilize a vitamin or a mineral.
Correct.
So that big long word just means if we're going to use it or not.
Well, if we're using it correctly or not.
Okay.
Yeah. However, this is what's fascinating. If you and this is clinically proven, this is scientific, this is fact. Like everybody, all listeners out there, you can go Google this right now. Like there is approximately 45% of the world population that cannot methylate properly. Their body does not have, there's a mutation, their MTHFR gene is mutated within their system. And we know this through, again, proper genetic medical DNA testing.
Okay.
So when we know this,
Mm-hmm.
and you have somebody who comes to you, or us, right? I mean, as holistic practitioners, we see clients and they have specific conditions that they see us with.
Correct.
We automatically in the past would say, okay, we know that these B vitamins are good for this, or we know that, these foods are specifically good for this.
Okay.
But if that individual has this gene mutation, then all of those things that we're throwing at them won't work. And it comes down to them, weeks in, months in, they come back and say, I'm still not feeling any different. There's, something's not working. I find, I've got these other issues with my digestion and so forth. Before, we didn't know how to really get in there and assess it. It was like throwing darts, right? You were just trying to hit a target.
Yep.
Now, because of the specific testing that we have available to our clients and to patients out there, we can get very specific and know for a fact what appropriate supplementation to recommend, in which case, all of a sudden, people start to see big differences. Now, it's funny because it has been coined this already online and through social media, but I honestly believe it to be true because I've run this test with myself. I call it the superhuman gene, because if you are methylating properly, your digestion works appropriately, your mood, your sleep patterns, your hormonal impact on your body.
That all makes sense.
All of these things start to make perfect sense, right? You're able to start healing, fixing, supporting, nourishing the body the way it was meant to be. And so through this one simple understanding, we can go so deep and get so specific. And in some cases, see drastic differences in a very short period of time. Even with, the fascinating part about these forms of medical genetic testing is you can test a newborn infant. You can test a toddler. You can test into your ripe old age to see whether or not any of this, is something beneficial for you.
Okay, so you're saying that you can test children's, toddlers, and everything. How do you test? I mean, is this a painful thing?
No, absolutely not. These tests are administered through saliva only.
Oh, so it would be very easy to do something like that.
It's very easy. It's a very simple test and procedure.
Okay.
It's not invasive. It's not cumbersome. What is maybe a little bit more tricky or a little trickier is to find the appropriate test, to find one that is actually rated as a professional test so that it gets you professional results. Usually these tests are only available to practitioners like ourselves or medical health experts. And it's not something that you can just go online and purchase and download and order for yourself.
And there's a big difference when you're talking about getting your DNA tested for health reasons and things like that. There's a huge difference between that and finding out where your grandfather was born.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Well, no, because some people, when you talk to them about DNA testing or genetic testing, they said, oh yes, I'm 17% Irish, and they don't understand that that's not the same thing as what you're talking about.
Not at all. I mean, we're really talking about looking at your chronological age and understanding how we can make minor changes in some cases major changes to literally impact your biological age. So what I mean is we can take your current age.
Yes.
Okay. In my case, 48, 49 years old. What's my biological age? So 48 right now is my chronological age. My biological age, the last time I checked, was 29.
Oh, you're bragging again. Honest to goodness.
No. What I did was I got very specific with this type of testing on myself to see exactly how my body responds to certain vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And would you believe it, that when I made the simple changes, understanding that I myself am somebody who does not methylate properly, I do suffer with a very specific gene mutation.
Wait, you're not perfect? Oh
Contrary,
my goodness.
contrary to popular belief. And so once I made the appropriate changes, big things started to happen. Definitely improved sleep patterns, sleeping longer, sleeping deeper, waking more rested. Energy levels, stamina, endurance, thyroid function improved. All of these biomarkers in my blood panel that my doctor would send me for once a year for my physical started to make a show drastic improvements.
Mm-hmm.
So it's remarkable, and all of this is very relevant to me right now because having just moved to a new area and just upheaval, this massive upheaval in our lives, we've got a new doctor, we had to go for new testing and new blood work and so forth. So it's all very fresh.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there, fresh on my mind. So it's pretty fascinating, this whole concept of medical genetic testing.
So you had mentioned earlier that it can be tested on babies. Let's say you wanted to do that to find out what good things you can do for your newborn or toddler, and maybe what things you were saying about whether their body likes certain foods or whether they would be sensitive to them. You could tell that right off the get-go, I guess.
Right off the bat.
So that's all wonderful for people who are starting out in life. Is there an age where you're too old to have this done?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If anyone out there is seriously interested in improving their current state of health at any age,
Mm-hmm.
improving their mental function, improving their physical abilities, improving, again, improving their sleep, improving hormonal balance, improving their elimination cycle, improving their digestive function. There's people out there with this genetic mutation, this MTHFR mutation, that think, first of all, they don't know they have the mutation. Second, they believe in their heart of hearts, because it's wreaked havoc on their bodies, that they're allergic to certain foods. They cannot tolerate them. They cannot eat them. Meanwhile, if we knew, or if they knew, that they suffered with this gene mutation and we worked to correct it with the appropriate supplementation, they would actually find out that they don't suffer specific allergies to foods, or that they are not as sensitive to certain foods as they once thought they were. It doesn't matter what age you're at. You're never too old to improve your health and your conditioning and your state of being. And the idea here is not only to live a long life, but a healthy one.
Well, that's the key, isn't it?
That's what it all boils down to. And so it's really relevant today. And I, for one, am pretty impressed with this specific scientific advancement in our medical technology. It's something that I believe should be automatically used now inside the medical system. Unfortunately, we're not there yet,
No.
but it is something that's available to everyone out there if they know where to look for it. And it's something that we now offer all of our clients.
Right. And like you said, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, first step for anybody to want to have this done is to find a reputable company to do this, because it's popular. And this happens in life all the time. Something becomes popular and everybody decides to do it in their garage and make a few bucks because it's something that is the in thing.
Bob's genetic testing.
That's right. And so that's not what you want to do. You don't want, because there's a lot of Privacy Act involved as well. Because you don't want to just be sending your DNA helter-skelter all around and not know who's getting it and what they're doing with it once they get it. So I think that knowing who you're dealing with and like you say, a reputable place, and it's of utmost importance.
Utmost importance. And we have done our due diligence and gone deep in our research of companies available out there to use. And I have to say, we're probably dealing with one of the best companies in all of North America for our clients. They take that DNA sample and it is fully destroyed within 6 months after testing. And the only reason they keep it for 6 months on file is to test for any anomalies. after the initial tests are run. So it's pretty dramatic. Nothing is stored, nothing is kept, and people's privacy and safety is of our utmost importance. So, we bring that to the client.
And it has to go through a medical professional in order to do this. It's not something available by swiping left and clicking right,
No.
And getting it and a free towel to go with it.
No, of course not, because of course it's very difficult to read and understand the report that comes
depth
back
of it,
and the depth of the report. Most of our clients get a 56 page dossier report that comes back in, and it comes into us as the healthcare professionals because we then set up a time when we can go through each client's report directly with them, help them understand it, and make the appropriate recommendations and changes for them. So there's a lot that goes into this. It is very, very specific and it's very in depth, but what you get out of it is remarkable. And I have to say, I'm extremely happy that I did do the test. And the results have been pretty remarkable ever since.
Because you found out you weren't methylating properly.
And now,
And
I
now.
really am superhuman.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I thank you for sticking with me on this topic today, Marilyn. I appreciate it. I'm Frank Pirri.
And I'm Marilyn Mitchell. And until next time, remember, health equals wealth. So that's all the time we have today, but there's still so much more to talk about and learn. Head over to healthexpertscanada.com for more ideas on healthy living, and don't forget to like, download, and share this podcast with your friends, just for the health of it.